Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call to order the meeting for the Mojave County Building Code Advisory Board on October 29th, 2024. I'd like to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, if we may, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, we need roll call.
Chairman Richard Hamilton,
Here.
Board Member Mehdi Azarmi,
Here.
Board Member Doug McKee, absent. Board Member Peter Profit,
Here.
Board Member Dan Renner, absent. Board Member Rex Ruge,
Here.
Board Member Keith Walker. Here. Mr. Chairman, we do have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item, the first item of business is the approval of the minutes from October 17th, 2023 and January 23, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of October 17th, 2023 and January 23, 2024. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We don't have any old business today, and we don't have any new business when it comes to, any new business when it comes to any code changes. Today apparently is going to be more of an informational meeting to get us caught up and up to date on a few things that have happened with the Board of Supervisors and our board, if we will. The first item on the new business would be an update on the Board of Supervisors' previous revisions to the building ordinance 2021 through 2023.
Chairman Hamilton and board members, this first item on the agenda is a update on the Board of Supervisors' previous revisions to the building ordinance 2103. Back in June 7th, 2021, the Board of Supervisors adopted the 2018 International Building Codes and established Ordinance 2103. Beginning this year, we were making some changes within the ordinance and some clarifications, and the board basically asked to make some revisions to those. Some of the revisions that were made, they requested were in your packet. There is the ordinance itself, and if you'll look at page 5, they made some revisions to section 7, which is our violations, penalties, and remedies section. Part of the changes in those were that we revised costs for abatements of unsafe structures. So we established an hourly rate that staff would get, associated costs with the abatement, which would be title reports and other type of stuff that we'd have to pay for documentation, and also mileage for the officers or anybody within the abatement. So the board asked us to revise that and clarify those costs on abatement. So that was part of a revision of section 7 of our ordinance. Also, they made changes, or they requested changes to section 8, which were approved by them. And this is our advisory board and appeal procedure. And so out of section 8, and this would be page 6 of your ordinance, we revised the ordinance to require all unsafe structure appeals to be heard by the Board of Supervisors. In the past ordinance, the Building Code Advisory Board would hear those appeals. The board felt that it was necessary for them to hear those appeals of unsafe and dangerous structures. So the Code Advisory Board now will hear determination cases of myself and interpretations of the code and alternate materials and methods. So appeals of unsafe structures will be going straight to the Board of Supervisors instead of your board. So those were the two revisions that they did. Again, they adopted this on April 1st at the Board of Supervisors meeting. If you have any questions, feel free to answer them.
Does the board have any questions? No. I guess we don't. Thank you, Mr. Smithy. The second item on the agenda under new business is the update on the Board of Supervisors renewal of Building Code Advisory Board members. It seems that during their meeting, they found it fit to reinstate Mr. Peter Profit and Mr. Keith Walker. Does anybody have any objections to that, to go to the Board of Supervisors, or are we all good with it? Congratulations. Congratulations, Pete.
Thank you.
Chairman Hamilton and Board, just a little background on that. The Building Code Advisory Board is based on Arizona statute. It is required under Section 11-862, and basically it is an advisory board to the building department for suitable materials, interpretations of the code, and such. It does require five minimum members. One has to be a duly licensed architect, one has to be a professional engineer, one has to be a general contractor licensed in the state, and one has to be a person representing the public, and then another person engaged in electrical, mechanical, or plumbing trade. The code also allows you to have up to 7, which we do at this point, and basically it does require that 2 additional people have to be in the design or construction-related fields. So that's why we have 5 at least minimum, and we have 7 total. But that's just a little background on the statutes. And so I do thank the 2 members for rejoining for 4 years. The terms are alternated, so we don't have everybody up for election or appointment at one time. So throughout the years, sometimes we'll have a 2-year term and sometimes we'll have a 4-year term, just to alternate those. But these 2 terms were for 4 years, both Mr. Profit and Mr. Walker. And thank you.
Thank you for the explanation, Mr. Smithy. Next item of business would be the update on the Board of Supervisors' decision regarding the automated program fees. It seems that our recommendation from this board was rejected by the Board of Supervisors, so I believe we have an explanation on this.
Chairman Hamilton, board members, yes, you did hear on April 16th of this year, we did bring to you a proposal going straight from an automation fee, a flat fee from $40 up to a percentage type fee that we talked about. And we'll just go back in. We have an automation fund or a fee account that basically pays for automation of our permitting systems. So this has always been a standalone or kind of like an enterprise fund that would pay for programming updates, computers, and different things for the process of permitting building permits. So we've always had a $40 per permit fee involved for years. I've been here 16 years, and it was always that. So we started looking at the funding of this fund and found out that because of better automation, electronic submittal costs and stuff, our fundraising was going to start dropping off in 2 years. So we started looking at a way of increasing that fund to perform for the future, basically. So we did, we came up with a 3.5% based on the evaluation of the project instead of a straight flat $40 fee. We took this to your board, and obviously you approved it. We took it to the Planning and Zoning Commission on May 8th, 2024, and then we took it and they approved it. We took it to the board on August 5th, and they questioned the amount of the computer software that we're currently using. We've been using an Acela product for 16 years that I've been here. And the question has always came up is there comparable software out there that could be cheaper, could be more user-friendly for our customers and for us? So we have been looking in the last couple of years at some different programs. And then we did get some costs to continue the Acela program, and it was pretty substantial. So we started looking at some other permitting software programs, and actually, the board directed us to look at some of these instead of increasing the fees to contribute to the automation fee or the program. Let's look at a cost savings program to change the programs out. So we actually did that, and we found a company, SmartGov, that we took to the board, and they have approved it on October 7th for us to purchase the new program. With that, we're going to, it's going to be a good solution that meets and exceeds the county's needs for at a significant lower cost. It does really everything we're doing now and actually more efficient. Some things that we had, besides the Acela program, we had an off program that was called CityGov, which actually let the contractors use an app where they could come in or they could take Skype pictures and stuff like that. And it actually interfaced with our tablets out in the field for field inspection. Another one was you have an IVR, or a voice-activated call-in system that we've been using for years that functions sometimes and doesn't function sometimes. So this new permitting program is going to eliminate both those side programs and also create, a straight database for all our operations for permitting. And basically, we're looking at its cost savings over a 5-year period of $1.8 million. So we feel pretty confident with it. We don't have it online yet. We've purchased it, and we're going to start transitioning over to it. If my director has any more, I think he was a little bit more involved with it.
I think Gilbert kind of summed it up pretty well. Really what it comes down to is we've been with Acela for quite some time. It's worked fairly well for us. More recently, they've made us convert to the cloud, which has increased the cost quite significantly. And when they did that, we started looking elsewhere, and with the direction of the board, we were able to find solutions that are specifically designed just for permitting. And that's all we're using Acela for. Acela usually is in these larger cities that can use all of the functions of Acela, and it's very customizable, but very expensive. And that's not our county. We just need the permitting software, and the permitting software that's been developed by SmartGov actually is off the shelf better than what we can create with Acela. So it's going to cost us quite significantly less, and it's more user-friendly for our employees as well as the contractors. They're going to be able to interface with SmartGov on the contractor or applicant side. They can see the permits, they can request inspections, they can see the progress just online. And so it's going to be all around better solution, save us a lot of money. We're not going to have to raise the automation fee for quite some time if we're able to work this through the system. So, but open to any questions that maybe the board may have.
Mr. Chairman?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, because at the time that we decided to, have that raise from $40 to 3.5%, I had the opportunity to speak with some of the friends that I have in Paradise Valley, Arizona, Mesa, and even California. And one thing that they told me, because they've been doing this for a little bit longer than we just started to do, and based on the fact that there is so much overhead is going to be exerted to this program, it is going to be a very rough start, according to them. It is going to be a lot of learning process. And one of the issues that they brought up is that every so often, depends on the number of years, you need to invest more into updating and getting new programs and things like that. And every upgrade is not free. Every upgrade is going to be costly. So that was the reason for my logic to yes, you need to have a budget. 3.5% is not only for the initial, but creating like a reserve account so they would be able to tap into, instead of just like, well, we need to have more money, so let's go ahead and add on to it. So in my opinion, compared to other communities, that was very reasonable. And as I said, and I'm sure that you guys did a comprehensive cost analysis, which I assume that the board of supervisors should be aware that, this is not going to be just the startup. You're going to have a lot of other expenses to go through this transition, going from what we are doing to, become digital. There are going to be some overlapping time. It's going to be slowing down, in my opinion, the process to some extent at the beginning, and then it starts to maybe build that momentum. But the bigger cities, as I said, the city of Paradise Valley in Arizona and Mesa, they went through this cycle of issues, problems, troubleshooting, and all that, and it still is ongoing. Still they have to add more, as the, upgrade comes in or changes comes in, they have to keep investing into it. And as you know, anything that is about computer is not that cheap. Just like, when you are buying a, printer, the printer is not that expensive, but the ink is almost the same price as the printer. And that's how the computer business is like, yes, you can set it up really nicely, but then later on you're going to be paying more if you want to do that. And if you say, no, well, we're going to live with what we have, then you're going to fall behind. So I just want to make sure that, the commission here understand, that, this is going to be something that hopefully they would be able to have a better cost analysis and, gain some experience from the other, communities about their pain and about their expenses and all that. So, Gilbert is not going to have an ulcer, dealing with this headache because, people are going to complain. Things are going to start, the builders are going to have a problem and they're going to complain because, hey, why did we move to this new system when the old system was working okay? So there are going to be some, budget that needs to be issued and added to this to be able to have a smooth transition based on other people's and other communities' experience. So I just want to make sure that commission and also the director and our building official is aware of, my experience talking to other communities and how they reacted to it. And it's still, as of now, after like so many years, every so often they have to revisit, and it's an ongoing, pain that they have to go through. So anyway, I just want to let you know.
Thank you, Board Member Azari.
I did have a question. How long do you anticipate it's going to take to get this system up and running? I did notice when I called in the other day, the automated line's not working.
Mr. Chair, Board Member Rugi, the anticipated timeline is we're hoping that we can get this up and running by the end of our Excella subscription, which is I think it ends in July. So we're hoping to get everything up and running with SmartGov, at least with the crucial permits that we need. We're looking to do everything with SmartGov, our code enforcement, some of the environmental health stuff, environmental quality. But yeah, definitely we're looking to try to get it up and running by the July timeframe. Like Board Member Azarmi mentioned, there's going to be some growing pains, and we're anticipating that. We're hoping that we can have a smooth transition. One thing that we did look at, we looked at other counties, we looked at other jurisdictions. That's where we got the recommendation for SmartGov, was from a similar county. Coconino County is using SmartGov right now. Also, the city of Kingman is transitioning into using SmartGov as well. So I think using them as resources will be helpful for us, and we'll be able to rely on them. As far as the IVR system right now, I know we continue to have issues with them. That's one of our biggest takeaways from getting this new software is we're going to be able to eliminate that IVR system because we've had so many issues with it. It's just not been a good software program for the county. This new software it wouldn't be you calling in for an inspection. You would have to go on your phone and just online schedule it.
Right.
So it would be a lot better solution than what we currently have, and hopefully we can get the IVR back and up if it's not working right now. We'll look into that.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Gilbert, what's your plan for the transitional period? Because that was another thing that, they have mentioned to me that, the best, some of them that they went from like overnight switch, they ran into a lot of problems. So they said that, the best option was to have accepting, the old school application, but yet encouraging and creating like a transition, like a period that, they would be able to, practice for both the county staff and, those users. And then gradually, coming with the sunset for the old school application. Is that your plan, or what's your, idea?
Chairman and board members, I do anticipate that. Right now, we're doing the electronic plan review submittal requirements, and slowly we're working into that. So it will be a phase-in program, I do believe, because I don't think you can just flip the switch and go from one to the other. So we'll probably start with some over-the-counter permits and start transitioning into that. We still have to build a business practice plan and all that to start. So we're real fresh in the beginning of this, but yeah, your recommendation of phasing it in is very important.
Mr. Chair, Board Member Azarmi, just to add to that, with Excella, we did the whole transition of accepting online permitting. We're currently accepting those online permits right now, but we also are accepting any hard copy submittals too. So one thing that's been clear by the Board of Supervisors is they don't want to do away with individuals that need to still submit hard copies at the moment, and so we've allowed for that. The new system is completely online, but like Gilbert said, we're going to continue to accept those hard copies and help the customers walk through the process as we transition, and then eventually, hopefully, at some point in time, everybody can just easily go online and submit. It would be a lot more user-friendly for the customer and for us if it's all submitted online, but we're going to work with them as we get to that point.
Mr. Chairman, Director Holtry, so have you calculated the budget that you're going to go through in these things, including all these issues, hiccups, troubles that you might have in so is that calculated in, the numbers that you have?
Mr. Chair and Board Member Azarmi, yeah, we've took a deep dive into what the new software is going to cost us, and just getting out of Excella itself was going to save us over, right now we're paying about $320,000 a year just for the Excella software, plus another $70,000 for the other software programs that we're using, and the new one is going to be $57,000. So there's a huge cost savings. We're going to be able to mitigate any issues that come our way with the savings that we're going to be having. But yeah, we've looked into all those angles and factored them into our current budget and contingency that we have on hand and going forward.
So that extra money is not going to be taken away from your department?
Correct. No, it would not.
Thank you.
Chairman and board members, if I can just add to that. The Acela program we've had for years, and when the cloud came out for storage, I believe, and I'm not speaking for IT, but it took our IT department like 2 years to build the data to be transferred to the cloud. And that was always a problem from going to a different software program, as you had to back up the material and it all had to transfer correctly. So that's one reason we stayed with Acela that long. But once the cloud came out, a lot of the jurisdictions looked and found better software, and it was easier to compile that data over, so it is available. Otherwise, we would have lost stuff. So that's one reason why a lot of places are looking for new software right now too, just within the last couple of years.
Thank you, Mr. Smaby. Are there any more questions on this? I would like to say, I believe you said Coconino County's on this program right now, and I have had a few dealings with Coconino County lately. And it has been, for the very most part, very easy to work with on the computer. A hiccup or two of trying to log in to find something, or on if you redline something, was the issues that I've had on a couple of permits. But that was just a simple phone call to get that taken care of, and it seemed to work very well. So look forward to this program. Is there any other new business as of this time that anybody has? I have to back up a minute. I was reading the wrong paper, and I had asked for an approval of the minutes from the minutes that were from our last meeting. So I kind of goofed. I need to back up, and I need an approval for the minutes. Nobody caught it. That shocks me. I need an approval for the minutes from back in April 16th, 2024. They're at the front of your package right there.
I thought that's what we did approve.
I was looking at the wrong I was
Okay.
looking at the wrong paper. And we approved the minutes that we had already approved before from October on 23 and January of 24. So the proper minutes that we need to approve are for April 16th, 2024.
So I move per our chairman.
And
What he
seconded.
said, approved.
It's been moved and seconded that we have an approval for the minutes of April 16th, 2024. Is there any discussion on this?
Yes. I'll second it.
All those approved signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? The minutes pass. I would also like to add that I believe, Mr. Holtry, this is your first meeting with us.
Mr. Chair, I was here last meeting and I kind of introduced the fee increase. But yeah, as director, this is my first meeting. That is correct.
Meant as your new position.
Yeah,
Congratulations and welcome.
thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
The next item is we need to set, tentatively, our next meeting is scheduled for January 14th, 2025, to start off the new year. Is that feasible for everybody on their calendars?
That date works for me.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Was that a yes, Board Member Prophet?
Yes.
Thank you. So our next meeting will be set for January 14th, 2025.
Chairman Hamilton and board members, I'd just like to add to that is that's the first meeting of the year, and that is election of officers. So keep that in mind, please.
Well, thank you. Seeing as how there's no further business, I'm entertaining a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the October 29th, 2024 Mojave County Building Code Advisory Board meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Adjournment carries.